Tonight on News 5 Live, an attempt by factions within the UDP to trigger a recall convention is dead on arrival. We'll show you what Chairman Michael Perifit says about the failed signature petitions. A rounded view on Sapodilla Keys, a legal perspective, as well as weigh in from the Coast Guard and Tide. And a murder in Belize City, Calvin Palma is shot dead on Jane Usher Boulevard. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
V-Bucks by Benny's, Belize's newest multi-brand rewards program. To access V-Bucks, download the mobile app or access the website portal at vbucks.bz and set up your account. If you already have a Benny's account, chances are you already have V-Bucks. Don't let them go to waste. To earn V-Bucks, make a purchase at any Benny's location or at any of these Benny's entities, namely Island Freight Forwarders, Best Manufacturing, Benquip, and B-Mart. Once V-Bucks are earned, reward yourself. Use V-Bucks to buy items or exchange for cash. You can also double, triple, or even quadruple your V-Bucks on promotional days. It is simple. Purchase, earn, redeem. Loyalty is always rewarding with V-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
It's spooky season, and I've got the scoop for you. If you are on the hunt for a new Samsung device, then look forward to some scarily big savings on the full A-Series and S-Series lineup, with phones starting at a scarily low price of just $349 and Galaxy Tabs for only $439. Plus, all devices are protected with a 1-year local warranty. The awesome Galaxy lineup includes the A03 Core, A03, A13, A22, A23, A33, A52s, A53, S20 FE, S21 FE, S22, S22 Plus, S22 Ultra, and the newly released Galaxy Fold 4 and Galaxy Flip 4 phones. Only at any Samsung authorized resellers, including Cellular World, Dibari, Digi, and Westra, and grab yourself a spooky deal on your next upgrade with Samsung Spooky Savings Promotion.
Say hello to DigiTV. Step into the world of digital entertainment. DigiTV gives you access to 100+ channels on your TV or your mobile device at unbeatable prices. Take your shows with you wherever you go. It's a new level of freedom. Enjoy your favorite entertainment, sports, family, Latin, and local channels. No more fighting for the TV remote. You can access whenever you want from 2 devices at the same time. DigiTV is for everyone. And with the fastest fiber and mobile networks in the country, you are guaranteed to have the best experience ever. There's no installation required. Sign up for the Max package for only $40 monthly and get the first 2 months for just $30. For a limited time, get 50% off a Fire Stick when you sign up. Download the DigiTV app from the Android or Apple stores. Just WhatsApp us at 608-8888 to sign up. It's that easy. Watch, experience, enjoy DigiTV today.
Are you eligible for Amnesty 2022? This is your opportunity to apply. When you log on to www.immigration.gov.bz, you will find a full list of required documents needed for the amnesty criteria you are eligible for. Be sure to gather all general and supporting documents needed, including all necessary translations. Then make your appointment online with any of our registration centers countrywide. There, you will submit your documents and complete the required interviews. Thereafter, an acceptance receipt will be provided. While you wait for a decision on your application, track its progress online and know when to make payment at your nearest government treasury office. Once completed, you will receive your permanent residence card, showing your legal status within Belize. Find out more about the Amnesty 2022 and how to apply online at www.immigration.gov.bz. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, October 25th. I am Sabrina Daly. Mesopotamia Area Representative Shine Barrow as leader has fallen flat after failing completely to produce the intended effect on triggering a recall mechanism. As we reported on Friday, 201 signed petitions were turned over to the UDP Secretariat by Vice Chairman Alberta August. Those signatures are the result of an attempt to revoke Barrow's leadership of the battered party by putting into motion a series of events that would culminate in a recall convention. The news tonight is that there will be no such activity on the UDP's upcoming calendar of events. The signatures have been vetted and it has been determined that the cabal has fallen short of satisfying the threshold.
Well, I think the letter is self-explanatory. 43 people retracted their support for the petition. About 3 people were not even on the delegates list, and a couple of them had resigned. And some of them were signed by alternates. And so those were the people that were not qualified to be on the recall petition. In addition to the fact that, well, this part did not really matter once we dealt with the retractions and the disqualifications per se, but many pages were filled with signatures indicating no reason as to why those people signed those pages. So it was just a blank page that said, print your name here and sign here, but nothing on the page itself to indicate that it was for a recall petition. So those were the things that led the Secretariat to conclude that the recall threshold was not met for you to trigger the recall convention to remove the party leader.
So was such stringent standards applied when you reviewed the last recall petition in June of 2021, the one brought by Tony Herrera to the headquarters? Yes, we did the very same thing. We made sure we meticulously checked that each person was actually a delegate. There were no retractions in that case, and the threshold was met.
with their documentation clearly indicating that they were requesting a recall convention.
The vetting of the signatures was a process that was overseen by UDP Secretary General Julia Timbrell, along with Chairman Michael Parafit. According to the presiding officer of the United Democratic Party, despite the retraction of signatures ahead of the formal submission on Friday, it was still a long, drawn-out process to ensure that the petitions were legitimate. Notwithstanding criticism from both sides of the intra-party divide, Parafit says that the process was clear and objective.
You had enough disqualifications, retractions before the document was even submitted by the people who are calling for the recall. Before the document was taken in to the headquarters last week, Friday, you already had retractions coming in. So it's not even a matter of quarreling about whether or not you can put your signature and take it back. In essence, before it became even a live issue, you had people who were already retracting their signatures. And listen, if you pay attention to the back and forth that's been had by these two so-called factions, if you will, I have stayed completely clear of that, to the chagrin of both sides, because I believe that as the chairman of the party, I have to be objective. The secretariat has to be above board and objective. Now, the person spearheading this process to make sure that it was fair is Julia Timbrell. And if you know Julia Timbrell and you know myself, we as a team, we're not going to take any side over anybody or something else for the sake of some bias when it comes to the type of attention that's being paid to this matter. We meticulously went over everything to make sure that if the threshold was met, then the recall convention will be triggered. If it wasn't met, then it would not be triggered. What you have there was the result of an objective process that took us over the weekend, countless hours and time, thanks to the Secretariat and the people who made sure that everything was in place. And that's what we do. We're not for the recall. We're not against the recall. We are for the UDP, and we want to make sure that the process is followed and the Constitution is respected.
The special sitting of the Senate on October 24th unveiled new developments in Belize's case that is presently before the International Court of Justice. The age-old territorial dispute with Guatemala has been taken to the World Court for resolution, and memorials as well as counter-memorials are being filed ahead of the matter being heard. During Monday's session, it was brought to the attention of the upper house that Honduras would also be included in the matter where ownership of the Sapodilla Keys is concerned. The Marine Reserve is located along the southernmost tip of the Barrier Reef, approximately 46 miles east of Punta Gorda. It is one of the more far-flung locales in the Belize Barrier Reef system. It is also claimed by Honduras, despite no effort being made to do so legally. So when the issue was debated yesterday by parliamentarians on both sides of the floor, we decided to seek a different legal perspective on the issue of whether it should be taken to referendum. News 5 sat down earlier today with Senior Counsel Godfrey Smith, himself a past foreign minister with knowledge of the subject. Here's his point of view on the matter.
The legal perspective, I think, is fairly straightforward. To the best of my knowledge, based on what I have understood from Belize's team of highly reputable and experienced international experts on international law, Belize's claim to sovereignty over the Sapodilla Key Range, whether in relation to Guatemala or Honduras, is very strong. And I believe in that position. So I'm not concerned so much about that. I think, though, that there may be a lot of confusion. I heard certain people remark about picking a fight with Honduras. Belize is not picking a fight with Honduras. I'm not sure it's fear or trepidation or concern, rather than just politics as usual. Parties in opposition will often take, you've seen it historically over time, across the political divide, where the ones in opposition, if they feel that there is some mileage to be gained, will adopt a position using the rallying cry, let the people decide. In my view, the people have already decided they want this resolved. They didn't vote in relation to Honduras, obviously, but plainly, if you want the matter resolved, you want it resolved once and for all. So I should not be mistaken to be holding a position that I am against referenda. But in this case, I don't think it is really necessary. I think it's key that the people involved, the team involved, move tactically, strategically, smartly to try to bring the two things onto the ICJ's decision-making table as early as possible.
This afternoon, lead UDP Senator Michael Parafit also opined on the issue, acknowledging that the argument that would be brought before the court does have value, based on the American Treaty of Pacific Settlement, also known as the Pact of Bogota. This accord was signed by the independent republics of America gathered at the 9th International Conference of American States in Bogota, Colombia in April 1948.
I don't say that there is no merit in that argument. When the leader of government business presented the reason why they were bringing the Pact of Bogota to the Senate, I even said to him that he is making a decent case as to why this should be done. My contention is this: that is not a decision for 13 people who nobody elected. Nobody elected the 13 of us to make a decision on something that affects the Belize-Guatemala issue. That is unacceptable to me. That is unacceptable. I know the leader of government business is the de facto prime minister, but come on, man. This is something that you must put to the people. I'm not saying that the Pact of Bogota may be a good idea or not a good idea. I am saying let's flesh it out. Let's discuss it. Let's analyze it. Have the people, have the issues be explained to the people and have the people make a decision on it.
The Belize Coast Guard has maintained a law enforcement presence at Sapodilla Key Range with a forward operating base at Hunting Key. Notwithstanding the geopolitical issue at play between Belize, Guatemala and Honduras, Rear Admiral Elton Bennett, Commandant of the Belize Coast Guard, explains the strategic importance of the remote string of islands.
The Coast Guard maintains a forward operating base in the Sapodilla Keys at Hunting Key, which is one of the government control islands where there are different government agencies there, and we've always maintained a forward operating base at Hunting Key, and from there we conduct operations. We launch operations south, southwest, east. One of those prominent operations that we conduct from Hunting Key is towards the Corona Reef, that disputed area between Belize and Guatemala. We've had confrontations with Guatemala in that area as recent as in August. So Hunting Key is very strategic for us in terms of demonstrating where the entrance of Belize territorial seas commence and where our exclusive economic zone and our internal waters are separated via the territorial sea. So it's a very strategic location for us. We've been flying our national flag there from the time the British were here, eventually handing over to the Belize Defense Force. Presence was maintained by the BDF Maritime Wing, and the Belize Coast Guard took that over in 2005. So maintaining a presence at the Sapodilla Keys has been very strategic for the government of Belize over the years.
Talk to us about the remoteness of this particular location, because my understanding is it's quite far away in terms of being out in the oceans there.
It's a good distance from mainland and would normally take us about 1 hour from Placentia or from Punta Gorda to reach out at Hunting Key. Very remote indeed, hardly visited by Belizeans. So you quite often get a lot of Hondurans and Guatemalan tourists that will go out at the Sapa de la Keys. So it's very distant, but a very important place for us, not only for geopolitics and strategic importance, but it's also a marine reserve. So there's a lot that goes on at the Sapa de la Key in terms of sovereignty, in terms of marine environmental protection, fisheries enforcement as well. Quite often we would come across Honduran fisher folks that would be entering Belize illegally to conduct fishing, or even Guatemalans would be entering Belizean waters illegally to conduct fishing. So our presence here is a very active one for law enforcement, for search and rescue purposes.
Coming up, Calvin Palma is murdered on Curl Thompson Street, Belize City.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "These things have I written unto you that believe on the name of the Son of God, that you may know that you have eternal life." God wants His children to live with assurance and face the future with faith, but so many live in fear. When you ask someone if they are saved, they often reply, "Well, I hope that I am." Well, God wants you to know that. If you could be saved and not know it, then you could lose it and never miss it. Let me tell you an imaginary story that happened the night the death angel went through Egypt, taking the lives of all the firstborn sons in the homes where the blood had not been applied. A Hebrew father is putting his son to bed. The son says, "Father, will I die tonight?" The father says, "Son, I don't know. We have placed the blood on the doorpost, but we will have to wait until tomorrow and see." Another Hebrew puts his son to bed, and he too asks, "Father, am I going to die tonight?" The father replies, "No, son, you're not going to die. We have placed the blood on the doorpost and lintel, and just as God has instructed, and God can be trusted, go to bed and sleep well." Now the question is this: which son was the safest? Well, the answer is they were equally safe because both had the blood applied. The only difference is that one went to bed in faith and the other in fear. What about you, friend? Are you facing the future with faith or with fear? Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
5 outstanding Caribbean nationals, a Jamaican novelist of international acclaim, a Trinidadian virologist who responded to the COVID pandemic, a Barbadian eye surgeon committed to eye care for all, a Guyanese entrepreneur and environmental consultant, and a digital inclusion advocate from Suriname. These are the 2022 recipients of the Anthony N. Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
There was a murder recorded on Monday night in the Jane Usher Boulevard area of Belize City. That community has been relatively quiet, but around 6:30 p.m., gunshots echoed across the neighborhood. Calvin Palma, who had just recently been staying in the area on Curl Thompson Street, was killed as he headed back home from a shop just 2 properties away. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
On Monday night, Calvin Palma was cut down in a hail of bullets on Curl Thompson Street in the Jane Usher Boulevard area of Belize City. The 32-year-old resident of a Mud Street address left his home and went to a shop 2 houses down. On his way back, he would come face to face with a gunman who opened fire on him. Reports of gunfire broke the silence.
After 6 or 6:30.
What were you doing?
In my bed with my kids.
What happened thereafter?
I don't know, because I just hear alone gunshot. See nothing, hear nothing. Only that I hear alone gunshot.
How many shots gone round?
I miss skunk. Because first I hear 5 and afterwards I hear multiple shots afterwards. You just me gang by then, say. No, me no know, me never did it, me no see. So I can't say. A lot of people come out because then the boy was a nice person, so everybody come out to assist, you know, but when they look him, he don't dip on the ground dead.
When the shooting subsided, residents emerged only to find Palma on the ground motionless. Police and scenes of crime personnel arrived shortly after to process the area. Palma's family, including his mother, arrived about an hour later. One resident recounts the grief expressed by Palma's mother.
As a ma, I know how she feel because then me a picnic too, and then the shooting they just left my kids and I know kids from in the neighborhood traumatized. You know, like man, a lot of kids live wrong here back at Jane Usher. So I don't know what else to say. It's really rough. If say he don't there and he might know, their pain they hurt.
Palma is no stranger to the law. Our archives show that back in March of 2009, at age 19, Palma was the victim of a drive-by shooting on Nurse Finley Crescent. Later that same year, he was charged for unlicensed firearm and ammunition. His name has also been called in a series of other crimes. Residents say Palma had just recently moved to the area, but was not known to have problems.
I don't really know her like that, but yes, I get to know her, and you know, I'm a nice person, and you know, helpful person.
He lived in this area, basically.
I never want my kids, I didn't want to see kids up on the street. I'm back here, so like peace. All of a sudden, the thing just start up. Yesterday, boy clean up, they go clean here, they go clean the street side. Anything I say, boy, don't feel. So now you name all your children on the street, they play, then if you go buy a shop. It don't make no sense, because you don't know who to trust, you don't know nothing. They feel last.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
30-year-old Coast Guard officer Emmanuel McFadden was arraigned earlier today on 3 counts of arson, following a fire on Saturday night that completely destroyed a Coast Guard patrol boat. This morning, the resident of Doublehead Cabbage appeared before the magistrate's court in the presence of attorneys Richard Dickey Bradley and Leroy Banner. McFadden, who has been with the Belize Coast Guard for the past 12 years, is accused of causing the destruction by fire of a Boston whaler, along with 3 Mercury outboard engines, the property of the government of Belize. The total damage to the vessel was estimated at $664,579. It was explained to him in court that the offense is an indictable matter, which will be tried before the Supreme Court. McFadden was granted bail in the sum of $10,000. McFadden must report to the Ladyville Police Station every Friday between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. and surrender all his travel documents. The Belize High School has been getting some unwanted attention. Thieves attempted to break into an office on the high school's compound. This incident happened over the weekend. Fortunately, they did not make off with anything because they were unsuccessful in gaining access. Administrators returned to school on Monday to a vandalized burglar barred door. Earlier today, we spoke with Jamie Usher, the principal at the high school, who told us more.
There's always a group of people that look at us as Belizean men and women living, and they determine that what you have and what you have worked for should be theirs. And so I commiserate with anybody who has ever had a home invasion or had a robbery in their home, because that kind of violation for your space, really, there's no words to describe what it takes to appreciate that somebody rummage through your things and take your valuables. So with that context, when they tried to break in, we want to shout out Rivero's Welding, because their security door did not allow them in. And so the benefit of the investment in a door really saved our school community purchase of whatever vandalism or robbery would have occurred.
After the break, BSCFA to ASR BSI. Show us the documents. While ASR BSI says, what documents? Details when we return.
My main message was to draw the attention of the students to what I call hallowed ground, the iconic institution of Lynham that was, but the spot remains. Lynham is gone. Henry is, but the students are our future. And so my message was for them to realize the opportunity they have outside of the traditional education of academics. And as George Price would say, the Right Honorable George Price would have said, we must combine the world of work with the world of study. And I wanted to impart it because that is what Lynham taught me, and that's what Henry can teach them. And they will be better, more rounded citizens of Belize with that kind of education.
The philosophy here at Henry is that we are going to prepare our young people to begin to appreciate more the value of agriculture. Many people look down upon agriculture, but we have to eat, and we want to eat healthy foods. So young people being trained to be able to produce these healthy foods, tropical foods that are rich in nutrients, in vitamins and minerals that are local to us here. We are able to produce that, and we're then going to be consuming foods that are healthy for us.
This activity is important today because it highlights what Lynham is, what Henry is, what it was in the past, and it can be better in the future. So, as a matter of fact, the Ministry of Agriculture today is committing 2 scholarships for high school students from here to go to UB, the Faculty of Agriculture in Central Farm. Plan Belize is the entire plan for developing the country, and agriculture is one of the primary foundations on which the country will expand. And so this is a part of Plan Belize.
It's less than 2 months to the opening of the next sugar crop, and there is still an impasse between the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association and the American sugar refinery, Belize Sugar Industries Limited. At the heart of the contention is distrust and demands. The BSCFA distrusts the figures the company has provided over revenues and costs, and the company has issues with demands that the association has made to provide more documentation. A large part of the country's sugar industry rests on how the two sides can work out their differences, understanding that under the current system of operation, one cannot do without the other. As a last resort, they have agreed to use a mediation process to look at their issues. News 5's Marian Ali reports.
It's the same set of issues between two rivaling partners in business, both sides saying the other is not being fair, whether it's over their revenue-cost ratio or over demands and expectations of the other. The Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association insists that American sugar refinery, Belize Sugar Industries, is not being straight with the figures.
We were able to get all the audited accounts, the management reports at the company's registry for us to have an idea to be able to verify, right, what it is that they offer us in their NSV and other statements. But since 2014 to now, those reports and financial audited financial statements have not been submitted or are not available at the company's registry for us to review. What they define as relevant is less than what we require.
But ASR BSI's Director of Finance, Sean Chavaria, told News 5 that they have provided all that they could to the cane farmers and have offered even more than paperwork.
Every year we do an independent audit of the net trip value, and that audit statement of the net trip value is provided to the associations. In addition to that, they get all the production records for the crop. So every day they get a report of what's been the production for the day, and at the end of the crop, they get to see what is the total production. We also provide them with all the shipments that we've made every month and throughout the course of the year. We provide all associations with copies of sales contract. We offered, as part of the negotiation, an audit right to the BSCFA to allow them to appoint their own auditors to review the working papers of our auditors when the audit of the net trip value is done. But they have rejected that.
Oscar Alonso explains what the association's gripe is with this offer.
We have no objection to that, but in order for that to really have meaning, it means that we would have to first clarify the figures that are being audited by the auditor, okay, such as the manufacturing allowances, the local handling. Okay, we will have to verify that what is being used is really the true cost, and then when the auditors audit what is actually calculated in each year regarding to those rates, then we could then audit that figure.
Chairman of the BSCFA Committee of Management, Javier Keme, used a graph to explain why there is distrust.
This model of the net strip value had served the purpose of allowing the mill to accommodate this other cost, which was manufacturing allowance, which was not there before, and accommodation also of the values itself of the local handling. These two costs are the ones that we saw that impacted more in the increase of the percentage on the services that the mill provided. So we say we in the analysis we did, we say that they are in fact getting 31% or 39% of the gross revenues. When you compound the 35% that they get on the net strip value, and these percentages that was on the cost as services that they provide.
Keme explained why the association has proposed a 60-40% of the total sales.
The formula of 60-40 that we were bringing forward as the gross revenue split was a reasonable one, and we expected the counter proposal on their side to be more of on the area of the percentages of 60-40 being 59-41 or whatever. So that was our expectation. It did not go that way.
But today, BSI's Sean Chavaria said the company would entertain the 60-40 proposal if it is fair to both parties.
We're more than happy to look at the 60-40 gross value structure, right? Similar to what the BSCFA proposing, but at the end of the day, it can't disadvantage one side of the other, right?
Yes.
And that's the key. It has to be a balancing act to make sure that it's mutually beneficial to both sides. That's the objective, and that's certainly been our approach throughout these negotiations.
After last week's House meeting, Prime Minister John Briceño alluded to the start of the mediation process after a mediator is named. And by the position that both sides seem to have taken, mediation might be the only solution to the current impasse.
We will not stand down, and we ask that's why we were claiming to the intervention of the government. What past government messed up, government need to regulate. It needs to regulate it, because otherwise the whole North that depends indirect and directly on this industry will go down. We will not repeat our words, will go down. So they cannot be neglecting and ignoring the fact that is what is going on in the sugar industry.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Today, the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association went at length to explain the issue it has with ASR-BSI. It's the same concerns that have remained on the negotiating table even before the last sugar crop opened. But it's just weeks to the opening of the new crop, and the association made it clear today that the crop will not open until the two sides can sign a new bargaining agreement. Following their press briefing, we posed the main concerns to ASR-BSI for their reaction. We present some of their main points raised.
We have in-house capacity that can analyze those transactions. We don't need to go outside and hire a particular independent firm or so on. So we're not interested in auditing. That is their operations, right? We are not asking for auditing their operations. All we're asking is for documentation, detailed documentation that would enable us to verify the cost that they are deducting from the gross revenues of the sales of sugar and molasses, for us to determine if we are getting a fair payment for our sugarcane.
We have provided them also with financial statements for Belize Cogeneration Energy Limited, which is the entity that supplies energy to the grid. As we know, the BSCFA is asking for an increased payment for bagash totaling around $5 million. And so we have provided them with the financial statements, with the power purchase agreement, to show them that Belcogen is making losses, that the tariff Belcogen receives does not include any value for bagash, to prove once and for all really that there's nothing to give in that respect. But even that has not been able to overcome the ask from the BSCFA. So really that's why we've arrived at this point where we feel that we provided everything that is needed for the BSCFA to understand our rationale and arguments, and they're still not accepting it, and therefore we are at this juncture.
The agreement prior 2015, it was a joint partnership system. It was a joint partnership model. It was a joint partnership contract agreement with the mill. This changed in 2015. The ownership of the cane was transferred to the mill when the cane is weighed at the scales. But what happened with the payment system? It remained the same. We still have the risks of any loss, and you can recall that there was a loss of molasses in I think it was in 2017. There was a loss of molasses, and because there was this issue of the ownership, we managed to establish or recover that expense, that loss.
We certainly don't agree with the BSCFA's rationale for wanting to change the existing cane payment structure, because we believe that the information and everything that is shared is accurate, it's verifiable, they get an independent audit of that. But we recognize that there's a lot of negative conjecture from the BSCFA with respect to the net trip value concept. So we have agreed to look at a formula basis the 60-40 gross value share. And we have presented that to the BSCFA, but they have also rejected that.
The last sugar crop opened late and translated into some losses for cane farmers. The reason was twofold. There was inclement weather and also there was only one mill operating at Belize Sugar Industries Limited. The projection for the new sugar crop, provided that there will be a new signed agreement between both parties, is that there will be another late start this year, as the chairman of the association shared.
The expectation this year is to start in December. So that is why it is important to remark that there should be an agreement in place for the crop to start on time. What date in December we are not sure, but it should start in December to accommodate all that cane that stayed on the field this year.
It was late last year because weather had a lot to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, but because of
the factory itself was giving problems because they brought down. And we will face the similar problem this year, because one of the generators of the Belcogen plant that feeds the mill was remanufactured last year, and the other one is being worked this year. So the expected time for it to start working at 100% is pretty much the same as last year.
When we return, Belize High School robotics team visit with Cabinet. We'll tell you why after the break.
If you are ailing due to a chronic disease and are left permanently invalid before retirement age, you may want to check if you qualify to receive invalidity benefit. The invalidity benefit exists for persons who are unable to continue working due to permanent illness. To qualify, you must be under 60 years old, must be sick for 26 consecutive weeks and certified to be medically unable to perform any type of work, must have at least 5 years of paid SSB contributions and at least 5 paid within the 3 months leading up to your illness. If you do not qualify for the invalidity pension, you may be eligible for the invalidity grant. Want to know more about invalidity benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Game 1 of the IBL playoffs lived up to its billing. Tough Enough Tours and Belize Coast Guard both drew first blood. And now, the Belize Water Service and Central Health Customs teams must go back to the drawing board and make the necessary adjustments for Game 2. It's the Benny's Interoffice Basketball League semifinals. Game 2 in the best-of-3 series. Winner go back to your office for the BWS and the Central Health Customs squads. Who will force a decisive Game 3? Who will advance to the grand finale? Who will draw one step closer and bling the championship ring? The semifinals is now moving to the Belize Civic Center this Friday night, October 28th at 7:30 p.m. for Game 2 in the best-of-3 series. Game 1 will feature the Tough Enough team on a mission led by Francis Arana and Ian Rennie, seeking to advance to the big dance. Will the BWS force a decisive Game 3, or will the Tough Enough Tours bury them deep into the ocean? Game 2 of the night will be a thriller. Belize Coast Guard, with the largest fan base in the IBL and led by Buddy Alberto and Connie Flowers, with Darren Bovell at the helm, will seek to advance to the finals as they battle against the upstart Central Health Customs, led by Glency Cooper Lopez and Stephen Wade. Game 1 was a nail-biter, and Game 2 should be no different. Will the Coast Guard advance to the finals, or will the upstart Central Health Custom team map that and force a decisive Game 3? Bring out the entire family this Friday night, 7:30 p.m. at the Belize Civic Center for Game 2 of the Best of 3 series. Just another level! Sponsors: Resinas Imports, D&W Supermarket, Mahib's Wholesale, Barefoot Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Car Guys, Oris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Fashion Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Penny's Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Powerade, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Rem, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
This week's Culture Tuesday feature is all about Cuban culture. We will take a closer look at some of the similarities between Belizean and Cuban music, food, and visual arts. This year, Belize and Cuba celebrated 27 years of diplomatic ties. Recently, the Belize City House of Culture hosted a Cuban National Culture Day event in celebration of the first time the Cuban national anthem was sung. Cuban music, cuisine, and art were on full display at that event. News 5's Paul Lopez filed the following report.
Carlos Perote is perhaps one of the most knowledgeable musicians in Belize. He left Cuba in 1999 during a cultural exchange program to work as an advisor to the Belize Arts Council, now the Institute of Creative Arts. He was tasked with developing its music program. It was during that period that Perote met his wife.
I born in 1970, November 5th. My family, really nobody's a musician in my family. I also have an uncle that I like play guitar. So I sometimes escape from the school. I go to my uncle's house, I see other man do things. So I get interested in that, and when I 8 year, my mom put me in the school, music school.
Following the exchange program, he would return to his homeland, but soon after decided to return to Belize to marry his girlfriend.
I am a very root man. I like root. And when I come here, remember the first time I go to the Bliss, the old Bliss, the best Bliss, what one have. Now, forget, I love that Bliss. I see a Mr. Peters. Man, that blow me my mind. Why? Because he a root man. He seen Otaki, but that root inside of it, that I say, man, I can make something here nice. And after that, I see the steel band. And that is the next thing that I...
Equipped with a master's degree in music and a specialization in percussion instruments, Perote is currently a full-time music instructor. His contributions to the development of music in Belize over the last 22 years are too vast to mention. Perote is infusing his Cuban culture into local music with the creation of a genre called Cugas. It's a blend of Cuban, Garifuna, and jazz music.
It's no matter who you are and where you are, so you have African descendant, we are connect. And Cuba have African and Belize too. So right there is the similar stuff. Some of the rhythm are very kinda similar. Only thing in Cuba a little bit more syncopated and I will say difficult. But it's the same African rhythm, African root, African aspect of the music.
And the richness of the Cuban culture comes from more than just its music. As salsa rhythms creates joy in the atmosphere, traditional Cuban food creates a party of flavors on the taste buds. I was able to try something similar to a Belizean favorite at a recent Cuban Cultural Day event at the Belize City House of Culture.
We serve a traditional Cuban food. We serve lechon. We call lechon. It's a pork, roasted pork. And we serve rice and bean that we call congri in Cuba. It's congri, it's black bean and white rice. So we mix. Have a special ingredient there that we're not going to tell you, of course, right? And also we serve cassava. The cassava have a gravy that we make with onion, garlic, and it's a little bit sour. You taste it, right? It's with lime.
There is also the mojito. Some historians trace its origin back to Havana, Cuba. People there were known to consume a mojito a day to prevent illness.
You make with rum, gold rum, sugar, lime, and mint leaf. And then you mash and then put soda water, ice, and enjoy it.
And it's delicious and it gets the party going, because when you drink mojitos, you want to dance the Cuban dance, right?
You drink and you think that you're drinking like a lemonade, but you don't have no flavor as alcohol. That's the secret of that drink, you know?
From music to food and visual arts, Cuban culture intersects Belizean culture in many ways. This art exhibit inside the Belize House of Culture has on display visual art pieces from renowned Cuban artists. Each piece tells a tale about the history of the Cuban people, much like what Belizeans see from the works of its own visual artists.
We wanted to do an exhibition that highlighted Cuba's culture, and we also wanted to give a glimpse between the relationship between Cuba and Belize. A lot of the doctors that we know, they go and venture off to Cuba to study medicine, they come back here, but in addition to that, a lot of Cuban doctors also come over and assist us, especially during the COVID pandemic. So we definitely needed to highlight that contribution that they made.
So tonight we celebrate Cuba, we celebrate the strong friendship between Belize and Cuba, and we celebrate the revolutionary spirit and the resilience and courage of the Cuban people. Que viva Cuba!
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
1 week after the Belize High School robotics team returned home with gold from the first Global Challenge in Geneva, Switzerland, they met with Prime Minister John Bersenio and his cabinet. There, they gave a presentation to a rapt audience of elected officials. Cabinet also presented the team with awards of recognition. News 5's Paul Lopez filed the following report.
It has been a week since the Belize High School robotics team returned from the first Global Challenge in Geneva, Switzerland, having won gold. Upon their arrival in Belize, they were greeted with much fanfare at the Philip Golson International Airport. And this morning, these top performers met and shared their knowledge with members of the Bersenio administration.
Apparently we're somewhat celebrities now, yes. We've gotten a lot of recognition from a lot of news stations. Of course, we spread it to a lot of different schools through the news stations, even on newspaper. And there are some instances, like just today, we're out in the market and a couple of people noticed us and they actually came to take a picture with us.
We spoke with several members of the robotics team on campus in Belize City. They shared some of the lessons they learned during the time spent preparing for the competition.
When we look back at what we've been working on since like summer, it was a lot of work that we did undo a lot of times. We had to break apart our entire robot and build a new one. There was times that when we were like taking it apart, like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard for us.
As well, our entire summer coming to school, and also our mentors spent their summer coming to school, being able to guide us and give us advice. And we also spent Carnival Day.
Not Carnival Day.
Yeah, we spent Carnival Day preparing for this robot, and also after school hours.
It's really like the robot really had gave us so much trouble, where we also have given up on ourselves. But in the end, we learned to never give up.
Belize again. A team of mentors led by IT Director Godfrey Sosa has, to a great degree, been a part of the students' journey to gold. These mentors have now taken on the task of replicating the high school's robotics program in educational institutions that are willing to receive them across the country.
I'm very proud of these guys for the amount of hours that they put in. I mean, us as mentors, we wanted to make sure we were here every step of the way to help them out, learning all of the basic concepts and all of what they needed to know, help them out when they have questions.
It's very encouraging because honestly, we have co-workers at other schools that are really calling us, they're asking for ideas. We actually did a Google Meet through us with a teacher.
Cabinet awarded the BHS robotics team with official citations. Minister of Education Francis Fonseca presented an official letter of recommendation to each student. High school principal Jamie Usher says the school's decision to integrate technology into its curriculum a decade ago has materialized in the innovation being witnessed today.
I saw a growth, I saw an experience that really echoes the fact that teaching is the best job in the world, because we light up students not to replicate or imitate us, but to follow from our example, personalize it, and come into their own. And that's what makes it emotional. Are asking for help in making this be something that, one, is not the first and only, but two, that's not only linked to our school. As the official partner, we want to get this across the country. We don't want anybody to feel limited by what they have. With the help of donors and sponsors and companies and even individuals, we are willing to take it to the road or to welcome them to our campus as best we can.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
BHS is getting ready to establish a robotics headquarters on its campus. Just ahead, the winners of the Belize National Tourism Awards 2022.
How are we to measure the success of our lives? For many, an ordinary life should have the following: a job, a house, enough money to buy a new car. But what if we threw out the ordinary? What could escaping ordinary at our jobs do? How about for our marriages? What if I told you we could all be escaping ordinary? Join us as we begin our new series.
I will be there. Thank you so much.
Why are you so excited?
Let me tell you a secret. I just got off the phone with Santa.
Hi, Santa. For Christmas, I want a pea shooter, a football. iPhone and a makeup for Christmas.
Oh, come on. 1 second.
We just learned that Santa's phone number has just been revealed. The number is 227-7132.
I'm sorry, Dad. I shared Santa's phone number.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great
Messi!
entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marion Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want. on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
On Saturday night inside the Caribbean Motors showroom, stakeholders in the tourism industry gathered for a night of recognition as the Belize Tourism Board hosted its annual Tourism Awards. The event is held to honor those who provide excellent service in the hospitality and tourism industry under 10 different categories. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
What better way to celebrate the rebounding of Belize's tourism industry, which was hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, than by honoring those stakeholders who were instrumental in maintaining Belize as a preferred destination for travelers. That's what the 2022 Belize National Tourism Awards did. It recognized excellence in service in several categories. Hotel of the Year was captured by Sleeping Giant Rainforest Lodge.
I've never been to a property like this in my life, where river, jungle, it's bordered by an 80,000 acre nature reserve. It has a cave that rivals the ATM cave on site. It has waterfalls, it has everything, incredibly diverse, allowing guests to pay for the level of experience by the accommodations that they chose.
Restaurant of the Year went to Elvis Kitchen.
I've been the person in charge I was 25 when they put the crown on my head. Every day when I come into work, I am so proud of what I do, and I do it with the best of my ability. And when I send a plate out, it will be because if I sit down and eat it, I will enjoy it. I will never give a customer something that personally wouldn't enjoy.
Site of the Year went to Blue Hole Natural Monument.
Blue Hole Natural Monument is a one-of-a-kind location. It is the farthest east that you can get in the Belizean territory. It is geologically special in that it is a sinkhole or a cenote in the middle of the Lighthouse Reef Atoll. And more so than it's just geography and its natural features, Blue Hole is special to Belizeans. Belizeans identify with Blue Hole. They see it as part of our cultural identity.
Meanwhile, Cultural Experience of the Year went to the San Antonio Women's Cooperative that has been working in the preservation of the Maya Yucatec cultural heritage.
San Antonio Women's Cooperative saw the need in preserving culture because it was something that was getting lost, and we wanted to revive the culture, the language that was getting lost. So when you come here, we will be teaching you about corn grinding and tortilla making. You will be having a little taste of the corn porridge, and you will be participating with us.
Tour Operator of the Year went to Belize Dive Adventures in San Pedro, and the tour guide for 2022 was Dive Master Sherman Kane of Blue Heaven Dives and Tours in San Pedro.
At the dive shop here, each one of our staff, we always try and fulfill all our guests' needs, so we try and make it a very memorable one, that they have something that they will want to come back here. Not to our shop, but to Belize itself.
Other awards include the Green Champion Award, which went to Turnip Flats Resort. Shanti Belize Yoga and Wellness Center and School won Health and Wellness Provider of the Year. Frontline Person of the Year went to Charlene Young from Blue Zen on Northern Keycorker. During her address, BTB's Marketing Director Michelle Bowers-Flowers said it best.
To be the best requires going above and beyond. It requires dedication, hard work, passion, innovation, and vision. And tonight we have seen these values exemplified by our award winners. To our winners and nominees, congratulations on a job well done. Continue to be the inspiration that you are to our industry.
Sharon Matola was given a posthumous award. John Grief and Stephen Schulte of Tropic Air were given Lifetime Achievement Awards. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.